August 19, 1953, Tehran, Iran. The streets fill with paid demonstrators. They carry signs denouncing their own prime minister. The CIA has spent weeks bribing military officers, journalists, and street thugs. Most Iranians believe this is a spontaneous uprising. It is not. Between 1947 and 1964, the Central Intelligence Agency secretly overthrew at least 7 foreign governments. Some were dictators, others were democratically elected. All shared one characteristic: they refused to align with American interests during the Cold War. The agency called these operations covert actions. The public would not learn the full truth for decades. Mohammad Mossadegh became Iran's prime minister through democratic elections in 1951. His crime was nationalizing British oil interests. The official narrative called him a communist dictator. Intelligence assessments said otherwise. President Eisenhower approved Operation Ajax in 1953. Kermit Roosevelt, CIA officer and grandson of Theodore Roosevelt, arrived in Tehran with bags of cash. The agency bribed Iranian politicians, military commanders, and newspaper editors. They printed fake communist propaganda to frighten the middle class. They hired street gangs to riot while posing as Mossadegh supporters. August 15, 1953, the coup begins prematurely. Mossadegh arrests the conspirators. The Shah flees to Rome. CIA headquarters sends an urgent cable. Operation has been tried and failed. We should not participate in any operation against Mossadegh which could be traced back to US. Operations should be discontinued. But Roosevelt ignores the order. 4 days later, the CIA tries again. This time, paid mobs overwhelm government forces. General Fazlollah Zahedi, the CIA's chosen replacement, emerges from hiding. Mossadegh is arrested and later sentenced to house arrest. The Shah returns to power. At least 300 political executions follow, according to Amnesty International. The CIA considers Iran a success. They use it to expand operations into other countries. The agency does not declassify its role until August 2013, 60 years later. June 1954, Guatemala City. President Jacobo Árbenz Guzman is democratically elected. He begins redistributing unused land to peasant farmers. Most of the land belongs to United Fruit Company, an American corporation. United Fruit has powerful friends in Washington. The CIA launches Operation PBSuccess. They arm Guatemalan exile Colonel Carlos Castillo Armas with weapons and aircraft. American pilots fly bombing missions over Guatemala City. The agency spreads propaganda claiming Árbenz is a Soviet agent. Árbenz resigns on June 27. Castillo Armas becomes president. Land reform ends immediately. Guatemala descends into decades of military dictatorship and civil war. The CIA's role remains classified for years. May 1962, British Guiana, a colony preparing for independence. Prime Minister Cheddi Jagan is scheduled to win the 1964 elections. President John F. Kennedy tells the British Prime Minister that Jagan disturbs us seriously. Kennedy's exact words: "We simply cannot afford to see another Castro-type regime established in this hemisphere." Intelligence reports conclude Jagan is not controlled by Moscow. Kennedy orders him removed anyway. The CIA contacts political rival Forbes Burnham. They funnel money into his campaign. The agency manipulates the Constitutional Convention in London, forcing a change to proportional representation voting. One State Department official warns, "I think it is unproven that CIA knows how to manipulate an election in British Guiana without a backfire." The operation proceeds. Jagan loses the 1964 election. Burnham becomes the new leader. The CIA runs the operation directly, bypassing normal diplomatic channels. This becomes the template for election interference worldwide. June 30, 1960, the Belgian Congo gains independence. Patrice Lumumba becomes prime minister. He demands genuine independence, not continued European control. CIA Chief of Station Larry Devlin arrives in July. By November, he receives orders from Joe from Paris, a CIA agent, relaying instructions from headquarters. The message is explicit: assassinate Lumumba. The CIA prepares poison. A declassified memo from November 1962 confirms the assassination plot, but the agency does not carry out the poisoning directly. Instead, they support Mobutu Sese Seko's coup, January 14, 1961. Devlin learns Lumumba has escaped house arrest. Mobutu's forces recapture him. Lumumba is scheduled for transfer to South Kasai, where local leaders vow to kill him. The destination suddenly changes to Katanga. Katanga's leader also wants him dead. Devlin knows about the transfer. He does not alert CIA headquarters or the US government until Lumumba is already being moved. His reasoning: the Kennedy administration is about to take power, and Eisenhower would want Kennedy to decide. So Devlin ensures the decision becomes irreversible. January 17, 1961. Lumumba is murdered near Elizabethville, Katanga. He is 35 years old. Mobutu and Belgian forces carry out the killing. The CIA officially denies involvement, but declassified documents confirm the agency knew about the murder plan and chose not to intervene. Mobutu remains in power for 32 years, backed by US support. The Congo becomes Zaire, one of Africa's most brutal dictatorships. MI6 files on Britain's role remain suppressed. Many have been destroyed. The CIA's covert operations created a pattern: Italy, 1948, Chile, El Salvador, Japan. The KGB followed the same model. David Robarge, the CIA's chief internal historian, calls the 1948 Italy operation a template for many countries. Some operations manipulated ballots directly, others manipulated public opinion. All were designed to install leaders loyal to US interests. The agency expanded its reach based on the apparent success in Iran. It took larger portions of American intelligence resources. Most operations remained classified for decades. How many coups remain undisclosed? Which current world leaders owe their positions to covert operations? What files have been destroyed? The CIA's role in Iran was declassified in 2013, 60 years after the coup. Files on Lumumba's murder remain partially withheld. MI6 documents are still suppressed. The pattern suggests more operations than have been acknowledged. The full story may never be known. Thanks for watching. To the end of this documentary, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to this channel for more documentaries like this. See you in the next one.